Welcome to the talk show Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. The goal of this show is to provide a learning experience to people of all ages, with guests from various fields in academics, a wide range of industries, and insight into the many forms of art, athletics, and entertainment. We hope you enjoy the show. Robert Chief Griffin is our guest today. Chief will speak about his career in professional basketball and his time with the Harlem Globetrotters. He will also talk about his successful business ventures.
Robert Chief Griffin, welcome to Life Stories with Marc Hoberman.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Chief, I have to say, for my entire 32-year teaching career, I always have students tell me they want to be a professional athlete, they want to be an actor, they want to be this or that. Was that always your dream as a child?
I would kind of say maybe yes, maybe an athlete, yes. I had some very influential uncles and a godfather that was pretty good in the sport. So naturally, when I showed my interest and I was looking at MJ growing up at North Carolina, like I already knew that's the player that's the player I want to be right there. That's the player I actually wanted to be. So yeah, I kind of had it at an early age that I really wanted to be an athlete.
And that is natural for many, many young people, even teens. But I just don't think they realize the percentages and how very difficult it is and how minuscule your chances are. Not that they shouldn't dream for it and aspire to it. But at what point did you realize, hey, this isn't just beating my three friends on the playground. This is getting to be serious here?
I think I found, like, when I was leaving out of elementary, going into junior high, and I mean, I knew I was decent, as a young age. We all think we're good, right? Until we meet somebody who's better. Right. So I want to say like seventh and eighth grade, actually, my godfather wrote MHSAAA, the Michigan High School Association or whatever, and actually tried to get me to play in high school while I was in junior high. Okay. Like on the freshman team while I was in 7th and 8th grade, just because other states was doing it, like in Missouri. You're allowed to do that in Missouri and other surrounding states. So we was like, why not Michigan? But they didn't allow it to happen. But 7th grade, when I started seeing leaps and bounds over my peers, and then going to high school, and I'm still going against high school athletes, and it's not slowing me down, none, really. You know what I mean? And then my freshman year in high school, I used to be the only player in the state of Michigan, and maybe one other player. He was a senior, though. I used to get invited up to go to U of M, and that was like the second group of the Fab Five came in. The old Fab Five already left out, but they was coming back and playing. I was playing against some Pistons coming down, like that was Joe Dumars' last 2 years for the Pistons, Allen Houston. So I was a ninth grader going against Big Ten and NBA players during my summers with Mike Garland taking me there. Mike Garland was the assistant for Michigan State since '96, and that's Izzo actually best friend and college roommate. So I got a chance to see a lot of good balling at an early age, but like I told you, I just wanted to take my talent like MJ. I wanted to be like an MJ. So in 9th grade, that's when I really started seeing like, oh, I think I'm really gonna go do this, So
on those lines, how did you hone your skills to get to that professional level?
Well, like I said before, I had my uncles to kind of understand. Besides Mike Garland, I had my uncles. They were great athletes. They all went to the same high school like I went to. I was just the first one maybe to take it to that D1 level and be seen every weekend. And, I had another uncle that, went to, matter of fact, he went to the D2 school, St. Missouri. They won D2 national championship when he was there. And it was like 80s or something like that. But he went to school in Missouri, and that's one of my uncles that won a championship in school, and he was very good, and he almost had some chances. So with that involved, my other uncle had a chance maybe to go to North Carolina. Dean Smith was recruiting him. That was rare in our area, in our city at that time. His name was Chris Grantham. I had a lot of influential people around that I got to really watch the game correctly, and they had a chance to put their hands on me and really teach me this game and the nuance of this game. And I really took heed to it because I wanted to be the best. You know, you're going around your uncles and everybody in the family and in the city who good. You ultimately like, man, okay, you good? Y'all good? So you track that down and you ultimately want to be the best in your area. So that was one of my things right there. So my uncles really put me on that level. And then getting to school, like I said, I'm the first, right? So certain mentors is not there during these certain level. I have to learn on my own or learn from somebody who's willing to bring me under their wing. You know what I'm saying? But for me being from my city, man, it was one other person maybe before that. Like I said, Maurice Brantley, he went to Xavier briefly, you know, but I went to University of Iowa, national attention on TV every weekend. And then, you know, that was like really the first in this area. So I opened a lot. I opened a lot in this area, and, you know, and that's kind of hard to do if you don't have the right mentorship.
Oh,
it really is. Because you don't know who to go to. You don't know who to turn to. You don't know who to really give you that sound advice. You know what I mean? Because they're not in front of my face, or I can't just go to their house because they haven't been to the level I'm going to. You know what I mean? So that's a different type of mentorship. Yes, you can mentor me to these things that I'm doing right now, but to get somewhere where nobody hasn't been around me, like in my immediate, you know, I was the first. So
yeah, once you go to the pros, it's a different story altogether. And professional sports is definitely a type of brand of entertainment. And then you went and stayed in sports to kind of another basketball brand of entertainment. So what was the transition like being on a professional NBA team and then being a member of the Harlem Globetrotters?
Ooh. Hey, see, the Harlem, I did the NBA G League, and then I did the Harlem Globe into the big show, NBA. Right. So the Harlem Globe, I want to say, how can I say it? It's basketball like no other, right? The fan base, like when you on the Harlem Globe and say you're traveling during the winter season, and I played during the winter season, like all through basketball season. I was on the East Coast team because you got an East Coast and you have a West Coast Harlem Globe team, or then you can have a mesh of them where they just meshing everybody together. So that transition and was such an eye opener because that's your segue. Like, say if you get signed to an NBA team after that, that's a segue to the NBA because you're building your fan base. Right. If you go in, because we're playing in all NBA gyms and big colleges and even some big high schools or YMCAs. No matter where, as long as it's a gym there, we're going to perform. But the NBA gyms, you play twice a day, and we pack NBA gyms out twice in one day. I've never seen no stuff like this. And then, you know, we don't leave the gym until the last autograph signed. Right. So we really do our due diligence as far as getting out to the people, not being too standoffish. And we want the people to, you know, have a good time and be able to, you know, talk to all of us. And, you know, and like I said, we don't leave the gym until the last person leaves the gym. That's just how we done it. But it's when you come into a city and say you're coming into New York and you're coming into New Jersey, you don't even think it's a NBA team there because the way they market and promote when you come in that town, you don't even think it's no other basketball going on. Right. And you're on the road and traveling so much. We rarely watched any ESPN because you stay busy, and then when you're done at your last game at night, it's time to relax, relate, and release. So, you know, we always had some event to go to, or we made our own little party scene every day. It's literally a party every day. So you have to be up, be ready for it. We got our sleep on the road. We got a big a travel tour bus is kind of bigger than your average because we all had our own section. So we can lay down fully, go to sleep on long rides in between our trips or in between our games. So when we come into a town, we stay like 4 or 5 days. We stay right in that city, and then we make it our city. And I swear, you don't see. It doesn't seem like it's any other ball going on because they do Harlem Globe everything, and it was just an eye opener how much we got paid, and then how many fans really adore the Harlem Globetrotters.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm sure you're touched, and I'm sure people still have memories, both young people and older people, very fond memories of those Harlem Globetrotter days. And it's just an event that's almost like the circus comes to town. I love the fact I equate it with, like, there's no other ball. When they're coming in, that's all who's coming in. So,
yes,
that's a great feeling. Chief, on
is.
my show, I often talk about the story behind the glory. So I'm interested, what struggles did you experience on your road to professional basketball?
The struggles, man, just, when you're done with school to become a pro, first and foremost, you want a job to be a pro. Now, if it's not, and I always was high with the NBA, so even if it's not even in the NBA, right, you still got to carry yourself like that's where you want to be. Even when you're going across seas, you're playing in the FIBA, you're playing in any other league, the ultimate drive for me was always like the NBA. So you still got to keep that mind frame. So you got to have the right people, like not having the right people around, because you're independent from it. You're your own businessman, really, right? So, but you have to have a team around you to complement the stuff you do and where you're going and keep you motivated and all that stuff. So some of my struggles were having a good agent. That's your first and foremost, having a good agent and one that's going to keep it real with you and understand your skill trait and put you in the spots where you can flourish, right? Then you just have, what come along with being a pro is people come from left and the right and see these things you have and don't understand, you really work to get to where you at. And all these, like, you get paid and you want to do so much for everybody. You just can't do everything for everybody, right? So that's another trial and tribulation in becoming a pro, because no matter where you play besides NBA, you playing pro, you making money, people could just ask you for anything and think you can just do it like that, not knowing you still got your life and bills and other stuff going on, right? And then the scrutiny. When you're a ball player, you get so much scrutiny from left and right, even from your own family members, on where you going, what, if you're not at home, are you what country you in, or if you ain't calling somebody back on time because you living your life and they've been living theirs, and if you don't call because you're the ball player and you're doing this, they're gonna scrutinize your name. If you can't do something for somebody, they like to scrutinize ball players like that, make everything public. You know what I'm saying? So scrutiny is probably one of the biggest challenges a ball player kind of like faces outside of just playing ball and like just wanting to live your life stress free every day. Scrutiny, and then with that, you in the media, people assume so much, and then it goes from there. You know what I'm saying? People scamming you because they think you're here and they think you're doing this and they want to take advantage of your name.
Oh yeah.
And and throw you under the bus in so many type of ways. And it's just like, how are y'all making up this information? And then why are y'all being so disturbed by somebody's playing ball and making something of their life and helping other people? People get disturbed by that. Just the presence you walk in the room because you play ball, you about to get attention from somebody that they want to get attention from. It's so many nuances that goes on with scrutiny. And you just trying to make your thing happen and just take care of your family, man. It's kind of ridiculous, man. And you get thrown under the bus so many type of ways, man. And then, people can write up all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if you can control that narrative and people want to believe something about you, they're just going to believe it. It don't even matter, right? They never met you. They don't even know your business name, your game, or they just going to perceive it. And that's really what it is. So
I think that's so important for the viewers, because I asked that question of a former pro athlete and you kind of answered it some of it was common sense, but you answered it as a businessman, and this is a business, and there are some pitfalls. And I want to thank you so much for being so open and honest about that. And it kind of leads me into saying that I can't tell you how many times I've told students, hey, you want to be a pro athlete, you want to be an actor, you want to be a rapper, you want to be a singer, whatever. You do that, but you need something to fall back on. If your careers don't go as planned, or when your career is over, or if you get injured and it's cut short. So we all too often hear about former pro athletes who are now broke. So you've made that change very successfully. Can you walk us through your metamorphosis from professional athlete to businessman with RX Water and your other businesses?
Well, you got to stay consistent, man. You got to, like I said, you got to build good relationship, and ultimately you have to be a good person. And being a good person, sometimes people take advantage of that, because ultimately you're trying to get to a point and these people see it. So sometimes they play around with it, right? In order to get these things going, you got to be mentally strong, first and foremost. You got to believe in yourself. And again, you got to keep positive people around you. I don't do none of this stuff by myself, right? I don't get any of the companies that's coming my way by myself. Just to give you this tidbit here right now, I don't want to say too much, but I'm in talks with doing something with Smoothie King, right now, and I'm looking to conquer that thing there also. You know what I mean? So I just know when you're meant to make something happen in your life, you have to respect yourself, respect the people around you, and you will get things coming your way that you never thought of, right? But if you're not respecting just yourself and you're just looking at whatever that business deal is and you think you just finna get to it without any morals or aspect of any respect of that other person, some of them get there, but it doesn't last long. I know it doesn't last long at all. And that's why they say the good guys, last even longer. They don't die quicker. They last long. But sometimes we get our stuff at the end of the rainbow because they done been through all these people that scam. And it's like, dang, why didn't I just come to you and you just showed me this simple way to do it? Because some people think getting to it quicker is better, and it's not, right? So I just took a lot of due diligence and just building my name, my brand, dealing with the right person. I had somebody named, I don't know if I want to say that name, man, because they're not really good peoples right now to me. I mean, I wish them the best.
Right.
But there was my agent when I was on with the Pistons. I met him when I was with the Bulls in 05.
Mm-hmm.
And they turned me on to some good businesses, and they probably was good people in the past life before they met me, right? But I can't take that away from them because they have taught me some things, right? And that's where it gets shaky at. I don't like these people, but I know these people taught me something great to go to add to my life to take it there. So I am thankful for that, but I'm not thankful for the stuff they brought along the way. But to answer that question, man, it's just, it doesn't matter what you go through. You got to stay in the right. You know what I mean? Don't go wrong. I don't care who wrong you. I don't care who scams you. Don't do what they do. Do not do what they do. And it's okay if somebody talking bad about you or behind your back and you think that's okay. Focus on you and focus on the stuff you have to do to get where you got to go. And that's really what it's about. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, because everybody's not going to like what you do. Even if you've done a sport that so many people love, people are looking to be mad. Not per se at you, but if you're doing something greater than you in their face and they just angry, they're going to be mad. You can't have no control over it. All you can do is go even harder so some of that stuff ain't even fading. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people worry about what people say and doing all of this. Those are the blockers. Those are the things that stop you from getting to where you're going. So you got to put all that stuff out the way, no matter how mad it makes you, and go hard. Because, there's some people that's not right out here, man. and they really looking for you to fail and
Yeah.
and not to win. And it's just like, why would that happen? Because that's just the way they were taught.
Yeah,
100%.
sad but true, but phenomenal golden advice. So just in closing, Robert Chief Griffin, I can't thank you enough for joining us today, sharing your incredible experience, not just in professional sports, but in business and kind of schooling us. I want to thank you so much for being here. To the viewers, such a pleasure. To the viewers, don't forget to watch us on E360 TV, available on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. EST, on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire. Remember to follow us on social media. Life Stories with Marc Hoberman is on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, our YouTube channel. Chief, thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. To contact Marc, email him at info@lifestorieswithmarchoberman.com or visit him on social media through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Thank you for watching Life Stories with Marc Hoberman.